Hey there, and welcome back to GenXGrownUp. I'm George, and this is Bit by Bit. Up first today, folks, we're going to have some news about some new Atari cartridges on the way. Also, an interesting fact about the original space shoot 'em up that you might not know. And there's a new keyboard on the way with a very interesting feature. All that and just a little bit more up next on Bit by Bit. All right, here's some news from our friends over at TimeExtension.com. There are 3 more Toaplan games coming to the 2600 Plus, 7800, and 7800 Plus. Now, this is coming from PlayOn Senior Business Development Manager Ben Jones, and they have been revealed to be Slap Fight, Flying Shark, and Twin Cobra. That one's probably going to be my favorite from 1987. This was posted, I think, over on the Atari Age forum or something like that. But he was thinking out loud. He said they might also be interested in doing some other Toaplan remakes, like the 1990 platformer Snow Brothers, and some horizontal shooters like Hellfire or Zero Wing. So very cool. We know that Tiger Heli that got released, I think that was back in July. Here it is. Back in July of this year. It was very successful, very popular. Yeah, there it is. Atari Age forums is where this news dropped. But yeah, I love the fact that they're continuing to produce more from this back catalog of Toaplan games, and I am very much looking forward to these, especially Twin Cobra. That one just looks to be a blast to me. All right, here's something interesting from GamesRadar.com. After 32 years, an old NES horror JRPG that everybody thought was gone has now been leaked in a fully playable form. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. It is Splatterworld, has been leaked online recently. This is a sequel to the Splatterhouse original horror-themed beat-em-up from Namco, where you play as Jason Voorhees lookalike named Rick, fighting off various gruesome monstrosities as you try to save your girlfriend. So, yeah, Jason Voorhees having a girlfriend is a very unique take, and I do not remember these games from back then. These were squarely in the NES system family, which I'd never owned, unfortunately, although I really want to go and acquire one now, especially with all these new releases coming out, although this obviously can be played in emulation. They talk about, there was this video that was out there, and that was the only thing that you could find on this game. And it wasn't until 2024 anywhere that anyone referred to Splatterworld by name. That was when a Famicom game researcher who goes by Orochi posted a blog about the game, sharing an in-store game VHS debuting the very first Splatterworld gameplay footage to ever make it to the internet. That was out there for a while. Now this game has been released. They were up until last week when this whole thing popped off on 4chan, which is very cool. Look at just some of the stuff here. Judging by the replies to the Blue Sky post, though, fan translators are already on the case because, of course, this is all in Japanese. So if you're an English speaker or another language speaker and you don't speak Japanese, it's going to be a little hard to play this game, but people are already on it. I think this is awesome. I love it when these games that everybody thought were lost get found and put out there for the world to enjoy. And in related news from Eurogamer.net, 30 years later, a classic Namco arcade game is about to get a first console release. So this is Namco's Tokyo Wars, and it's coming out on PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and the Xbox. This is a tank battling game that in the arcades was a sit-down racing car shooter cabinet type of thing where you would just go around Tokyo and destroy people and tanks and buildings and all that kind of stuff. Very cool. I wish I would have gotten a chance to play this back in the day. I kind of want to go see if somebody has an arcade nearby that has this game in it. The console release happens on November 6th, so it's already happened as you're watching this video. Very cool. It's courtesy of a company called Hamster, and it's Arcade Archives range. So this is something that they do on the regular. They have a whole range of these systems. You can't access it on the Switch 1 and PS4, but you can on the Switch 2, PS5, and the Xbox Series console. So there you go. No PC release mentioned in the article, but still a very cool find and piece of information coming out for fans of racing shoot-'em-ups. Where else would you find this next bit but tomshardware.com? Well, I honestly found this on our Discord server thanks to a longtime friend of the channel, Tiberius, who sent this link over to me. It's discussing what really made the Space Invaders go faster and faster in the gameplay. It wasn't code, it was a hardware thing. So the fact that the underlying Intel 8080 could run the game code faster as aliens were wiped from the screen one by one by the player dishing out laser missile death, as they put it. It's so cool. So the fact that, and here's the post over on Twitter that shows the schematics of the game board and the game itself. Now, later on, the process bottleneck performance slowed down persisted, even though the CPU was aided by a dedicated Fujitsu MB14241 video shifter, also a Texas Instruments SN76477 sound chip. So it had all these support devices even way back then, but it still wasn't enough to overcome that bottleneck. Later on, versions of the games running in emulation mode, they had to code this stuff into those versions. But then when MAME came along, of course, and you could dump the original ROMs, you're able to play the games in exactly the way they were in the native cabinets, of course, with MAME, which is very, very cool. I just like this article. It's got a lot of good information in it. If you want to head over to tomshardware.com, I will have a link in the description of this video down below so you can go read more for yourself. Very cool find. And finally, from notebookcheck.com, Qwertykeys has a new retro-style mechanical keyboard with built-in mini games, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the images. So this is designed like their QK65 V2 and V2 Classic. It's a 65% layout, but it now has this interesting little miniature screen with buttons down below, as you can see, in order to play built-in mini games. The screen can also do other things. It can show system stats and other information. There's 2 knobs on the system that you can use to switch between connectivity modes and operating systems for the keyboard. It's a pretty keyboard. I get that they're going for the Nintendo kind of vibe with the design. You can see gray and whatnot, and that's very popular right now with a lot of this hardware that's coming out. They're also going to have some other colors, as you can see listed right here. There's like a pale green and a pale pink. There's an off black, and I did go over to their website, and it looks like you may be able to mix and match, I should say, the top and the bottom components of these keyboards to get different color variations, stuff that you like yourself. You can see the back and the front here in this image. Now, what I'm curious about is the price. Number one, these other 2 keyboards that are listed here in the article are around $165 a piece, which is at the top of the range of what I would want to pay for a keyboard, but I understand there's a lot of keyboard enthusiasts out there, and they could probably speak better in the comments down below as to why this system might be worth that. What I'm also curious about is, do you think we really need a keyboard where we would be able to play mini games, even though we have a computer monitor right in front of our face? I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. And that will wrap it up for another Bit by Bit here on GenXGrownUp. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye. That's going to do it for the news making headlines in the gaming world right now. I am George, and if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button, and I'll keep on bringing you the news bit by bit.